What's going on? How you doing? My name is David the Crook, and today I have a mastering video for you on how to master to get the most loudness, punchiness out of your song to compete with other songs. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button, also hit the like button. So let's get into it. I have a song here. I hardly forgot what it's called, but I'll link the song in the description down below so you can check it out. The song's already mixed. We're just gonna master it together.
Johnny Cash got the way.
She wanna go where the gang go. I'm a boss, yeah, they do what I say. So they know me in the city, name a place that I can't go. They always wanna hook, but they never got the bankroll. Case closed, if you want a verse, I need the pesos. Late low, my homie, he a demon with a halo. Hey yo, young boy sauce like some Prego. Afraid, they say I'm gon' blow like volcanoes. I know though, I've been popping since I went solo. Popping off every time I flow, bro. They say you hella cold, no snow, though I like that. Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the plaque, we ain't got no time to slack now.
So there you go. That's probably like, I don't know if that was a hook verse or a verse hook, but either way, we're just gonna get into it. So one of the first things you want to do when you're mastering a song is make sure you're not clipping. So as you could tell, I have about 1.6 dB before I hit 0, because once anything after 0, you're clipping. So you kind of want to make sure you're not clipping in the mix. When you're mastering, it's all right because you're just going to drop a limiter on it, so you'll be okay. But when you're mixing, you just want to make sure you have enough headroom. And one of the first things I like to do is just pretty much go to the loudest part. So if you're looking at a track, if you're using Logic, you can just turn this button on and it'll kind of just show you where the loudest part, which is around here. But if not, you can always just look at the wave frequencies and you just kind of choose and section out the loudest part. So for me, I'm just going to section off about this part here, and we're just going to loop this over and over, and we're just going to master this. And the reason we're mastering the loudest part is because we want to hear the full song. So one thing when it comes to mastering is whatever you do to the track, you're doing to everything. So if you're going to boost the highs, you're boosting the highs on the beat, the vocals, everything. If you're boosting the lows, you're boosting the lows on everything. So you got to be very careful on what you're boosting, but for the most part, you just want to choose the loudest part and go from there. Pretty much the first plugin, and the way I like to master, is EQ compress limiter. That's pretty much how I master songs. One of the first things I like doing is throwing a Pultec EQ just for the color. If you don't have these by Waves, if you're using Logic Pro X, you could just go to Vintage EQ, throw up this Pultec, and it's the same thing. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the low end just a little bit. Now you could also bring out a multimeter, kind of like this one, and then it's going to give you all the frequencies.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting.
And then you can use that pretty much kind of see the frequencies, kind of see what's going on. But for the most part, we're going to work with this Pultec, and I usually have a preset. I call it a master preset. It looks like this, and this is kind of just like a skeleton of what I'm going for in the master. Is pretty much boosting up the highs and then boosting up some of the lows, but we're just going to start from scratch. So we're going to full reset, and we're just going to go from here.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the plaque, we ain't got no time to slack now. I'm that dude I know, went from raps in the pack, now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm out on the road. You would never hit my phone when I was say what's up. Now you see that the kick going up. Just like Dizzy, I don't need no fake love. Stay away from Mizzy, baby, I popped up. She asked me where you going, why you tripping, you ain't on it.
So pretty much all I really did here is boost the low end, and the reason I chose 30 hertz is because for me, when I boost the low, I want to boost that punch, that vibration, that bass. And at 100, you're going to be boosting up that kick with the bass. And I'm not really trying to boost the kick that much. I just kind of want that sub frequencies, that shake, that rattle, that bass feel that you're going for. So that's why I boosted 30. And the reason I boost 16K frequencies is because I want to get a little bit more out of the highs from the vocals, even though we boost the vocals already.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the plaque, we ain't got no time to slack now. I'm that dude.
So as you could tell, the bass is kicking a little bit more. There's also a little bit more highs in it. It comes out a lot better. Now you could lower the gain just a little bit, but I'm just going to keep it at 0 for now. Now we're just going to go to the other one. And this one's a little bit tricky just because you're dipping. So when you're dipping frequencies, like I said, whatever you do, you're doing to everything. So if you're going to dip 500 hertz, you're dipping the 500 on the beat and the vocals too. So you got to be careful not to thin things out too much. So you got to be very careful when it comes to this. I also have this preset on it. It just looks like this. So I'm going to do a full reset and we're just going to start.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack, we ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude I know, went from raps in the pack, now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm not on the road. You would never hit my phone when I was say what's up. Now you see that the kick going up. Just like Dizzy, I don't need no fake love. Stay away from Izzy, baby, I bossed up. She asked me where you going, why you tripping, you ain't on it. Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack, we ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude I know, went from raps in the pack, now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me.
Now I usually use another EQ, and this is mostly for the color. I kind of just use a console EQ from Logic Pro X, but if you don't have this, you can use any EQ, or you don't have to use another EQ. The reason I'm going to use this one is to boost, but if you're going to use nothing but weight plugins, I'll recommend just probably using like a VEQ. That would work too. The only thing is going to color the song, so either it could go with the song or not. It kind of just depends. VEQ3, and the reason we're going to do this, we're just going to boost a little bit more on the high end and a little bit more of those mid frequencies, just because I kind of want to beef up that mid size.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack, we ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude I know, went from raps in the pack, now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm not on the road. You would never hit my phone when I was say what's up. Now you see that the kick going up. Just like Dizzy, I don't need no fake love. Stay away from Izzy, baby, I bossed up. She asked me where you going, why you tripping, you ain't on it. Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack, we ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude.
That sounds good there. Now the next thing we're going to do is compress, and the compressor I'm going to use is a SSL compressor. I really like the color that it gives a song. I usually cut 20 hertz, and that's just to control the bass just a little bit, and then I do a 1.5 dB compression. So I'm going to put like a quick release, probably like a 10. When the bass is hitting, I don't want every bass hit to be compressed. I kind of just want every other one, or pretty much when there's a roll of 808s, to be compressed, not the whole thing.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no I ain't. Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no.
So kind of like that. See how like after every kick or 808 there's not a compression, but when there's that roll that does compress it, so that really helps control the low end and just tame the peaks just a little bit more. Now I'm not going to do any EQing until a little later, and the next thing I'm going to do is add a compressor. Now you can either use a stock Logic Pro compressor that works good too, or any other compressor. Now the plugin I'm going to use is the Shep's Omni channel, and the reason I'm using this one is because this is a channel strip. It has everything, so it has a preamp, an EQ, and compression. That's what we're going to be working with. I'm not going to use the de-esser or the gate, so I'm just going to move this over here, move this here. And what I like about this is I like turning the stump on just because it gives it a fuller feel to the song, and then I like adding some saturation. So if you don't have this, you can use any other saturation, like the soft tube saturation knob. It's a free plugin, it works good on this. Some distortion, just anything, but you gotta be very subtle with the amount you add, just because if you add too much, the low end beefs up too much and takes up too much headroom, but it also kind of distorts. So you gotta be very careful when you're adding saturation or distortion to the mastering song. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn this on so you can hear what it does. I'm gonna put this probably about 25, and then I'm gonna turn it off so you can really hear what it does.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting help a hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack, we ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude I know, went from raps in the pack, now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm not on the road.
So as you could tell, when I turned the thump on and I added some saturation, it beefed up the song. It made it a lot fuller. Like, it started introducing other harmonics into the song. So that's what gives it that full feeling, and that's what you're going for. So next thing I'm gonna do is add an EQ, but I'm not gonna touch the EQ just yet. I'm gonna throw the compressor on after, And this compressor is going to be used strictly for color. It's not to compress anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the threshold at 2, put the slow attack and very quick release, and I just want this little light just to turn on just a little bit, and that's it. So all I want is for the audio file to go into the compressor, do that little needle just a little bit, and then that's it. So it's not even for compression, it's more for the color. Now if there's a certain compressor you like but you don't want to use to compress, you could do this trick, and it's pretty much just to take the color out of the compressor. So put a FET, and then we're just gonna put the threshold down till that little blue light turns on.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back. Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back.
So there we go. That's pretty much it. That's all I'm going to use this compressor for, is just to take out the color. Now, pretty much the next thing I'm going to do is add an F6 by waves. What this pretty much is, I'm just going to use this to control the low end. This limiter is going to go here. And I just do a whole dB out ceiling, and I just turn this on auto. If you don't want to turn on auto, I would suggest a very quick release. So I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'm just going to use Isotopes Ozone 8. Go to the loudest part, turn on the master assist, and then it's going to give us some numbers to work with, and we're just going to use that.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back. Hell no, I ain't getting track. I've been gunning for the pack. We ain't got no time to slack now. I'm that dude I know. Went from rap to the pack. Now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap asking where you try.
This gave us some suggestions that we could use. Now, as you could tell, we boost a little bit too much on that low, on that middle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back onto probably this V3, probably just boost this back just a little bit here. So we're just gonna boost that down just a little bit, and as you could tell, it wants a little bit more highs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy these settings. Instead of just leaving it on the ozone, I'm gonna throw it on this. Pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to 16K, so throw this all the way at 16, and just boost it up 1.5, and I just like copy the settings that it gives me and put it on other plugins instead of using Ozone 8, just because if I'm gonna use this plugin, I might as well use it and get some more color onto the song. So then after that, I'm gonna go to the Shep's Omni channel, and this is where I use this EQ, and I love using this EQ just because you have a lot of control over it. So for example, you go to here, you go to 4.5 hertz, so you just solo this.
Lately I've been feeling
and then you do a boost here. So that you're boosting that one frequency, and you could really solo it out, and you could really know pretty much where you're boosting if you soloed it. So that's the reason why I like using the Shep's Omni channel. So I'm gonna move this here. Let's see what else needs to be boosted. And then as you could tell, it says we have 4.3 hertz, a little bit too much bass. So this is where I use the F6. I kind of just go on here. So I go to 42 here. I do a little boost. So I go this one, make sure the Q is like that. Just do like a 1 dB boost. I mean 1 dB cut. And then I like doing like a fairly slow attack and a very quick release, just so I can get that punch of the 808. Quick release, and then just tame it.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back. Hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack. We ain't got no time to slack now. I'm that dude I know. Went from rap to the pack. Now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm out.
So pretty much what this is doing is it's pumping the 808. So once the 808 hits, because it has a slower attack, the 808 is still hitting, but then that's when the F6 kind of compresses it a little bit. So you're just compressing that one frequency. So using the F6 for mastering is a good tool to use. And pretty much once I do a little bit of the copying, I just use this again.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't letting a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back. Hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack. We ain't got no time to slack now. I'm that dude I know. Went from rap to the pack. Now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap asking where you tryna go.
So then as you can see, we need to do a little bit more boosting on the high end, and then cut a little bit less out of the mids, so that's okay. So pretty much what I'm gonna do is go back to the SSL channel strip. What is this, like 3 3 2? So I'm gonna go here, put a 3 3 2, probably do like a wider band and just do like a 1.2 dB boost. And then, what is this, 6.9. So I could go back to the Shep's Omni channel strip, go to 16.9 here. 16.9. So we can solo it out if you want. So I don't know if you can feel it, but you can feel it in your throat, and this is what it's looking like. So we're just gonna boost these frequencies, probably like 1.5.
Now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm out on the road. You will never.
So pretty much this is a process that I use, and I just go back and forth until it's pretty similar, even, because after this you probably just won't have to do anything. So what I like doing is I just go to preset, adaptive dynamics. Makes it too loud, so I put this threshold at 2, put this at 0, probably add a little bit more imaging just to widen it up a little bit, and then I just use like a loudness meter, so like a metering loudness, and my goal is to aim for -9. And the reason I'm aiming for -9 is just because I feel like -9 is a good sweet spot to hit when you're doing like rap, trap, pop, just because it's able to compete, but it's not too squish. You still have dynamics within the song after you're limiting and pretty much doing everything. So I like aiming for -9 LUFS. It's all subjective on how loud you want the song. If you're willing to sacrifice the dynamics for loudness, go for it. You know, there's a lot of rap songs out there that's really good. They're loud, but they just don't have dynamics. So it doesn't really, it's up to you. It's a personal use, and it all depends on the artist too. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the song, and I'm just gonna aim for -9 LUFS.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back. Hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack. We ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude I know. Went from raps in the pack. Now they pay me for the show. She just hit my snap, asking where you tryna go. My treat on me, tell her I'm out on the road. You would never hit my phone when I was say what's up. Now you see that the kick going up. Just like Dizzy, I don't need no fake love. Stay away from Izzy, baby, I fucked up. She asked me, they say I'm gon' blow like volcanoes. I know though, I've been popping since I went solo. Popping off every time I flow, bro. They say you hella cold, no snow, though I like that. Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been.
So that's good there, and the reason I do use 2 limiters also is to share the workload on the limiter. So, oh shit. So the reason I use 2 limiters is to share the workload between the 2 limiters. So for example, if I didn't have this one, that's an extra 1.5. So 1.5 plus 1.5 is 2, 3. So that would be, I would put this all the way to 3, and I would get the same amount of loudness. But then you're kind of overworking this one limiter, so I just split it in 2, and that's why I like using 2 limiters. So I just put this at 1.5 and then put this at 1.5, so then you're splitting up the threshold limiting, so that way both compressors don't overwork, and then you're just getting that small amount of peak on the end. And that's pretty much it. That's how you master the loudness of a song to get the most out of it. It's just pretty much EQing, compressing, a little bit more EQing if you're using Ozone 8. Use the track assist and then kind of see what they give you, and then just do those boosts in the other EQs. If you want to use a specific EQ for the color of the song, use it. Like for example, how I did with the SSL, I kind of boosted the high end. Once Ozone 8 told me, okay, you could probably boost 1.5 dBs on 16K. So I'm gonna play the song without plugins and with plugins, so we could do a comparison. That sound, I don't even think that's a word, honestly. So this is before the plugins.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack. We ain't got no time to slack, nah.
So, and this is with all the plugins turned on.
Lately I've been feeling for the stacks. I ain't lending a helping hand when I was down up on my back. Move back, hell no, I ain't getting on your track. I've been gunning for the pack. We ain't got no time to slack, nah. I'm that dude I know. Went from raps in the pack. Now they pay me for the show. She just hit my.
Honestly, I could probably lower the highs a little bit, just because I feel like it's too high, too much high end. I'll probably just lower it back like a dB or 2. But for the most part, the song sounds really good. The master song sounds dope. So like I said, the song will be down below in the description, and this is how you master for loudness. You just kind of want to stick to EQs and compressions, and then little assist here and there. I want to say thank you guys for watching the video. Now if you want your song mixed and mastered by me, feel free to hit me up on Instagram or down below to my email or my website. Everything will be down below in the description to check out, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment telling me what you would like to see next. My name's David the Crook. Peace.